Okay, so I'm going to record the shaft support. It's in millimeters. One of the tricky things, though, um, is that having to make these layers every time can be very tedious, and you feel not all that productive having to do every time. So there's a couple different ways, and there's one way of just basically let's open up an old file. So, for example, I will open up maybe the anchor base here. I think I have it here. So here is my anchor base, right? So one thing you could do is you've got your layers, right? And so with your layers, in theory here, you can just delete everything, right? So I could just turn all my layers on, delete everything, and then guess what? I still have my layers, and I would say this is another drawing. That's fine. You can do that. I just did something, which is the reason why you don't want to do it. I saved over an old drawing. I was doing it with, I think, my saddle bracket, and now it's disappeared. It's not even there anymore. So, lesson to be learned. That's the downside, is sometimes if you're not careful, you can really mess yourself up. So what they have is, so then the other challenge is, okay, let's just say I do that, but if you notice, this one is in millimeters, and the other one was in inches, and it's just a whole different scale. So what you can do, and it's not a seamless process, but it does work well, is what you would do is you would have your layers turned on. And so you got your layers turned on, you open up your file, and I don't have to worry about deleting anything. What you do is you come up to the very top, and you'll see it says Layer States Manager, or you hit Alt S, right? And so I'm going to create a new one, right? And here's one I just worked on. So I'll say New, and I'm going to call this Chapter 5. And I've done this 3 times, so that's why I've got so many. Chapter 5, and I'll just say C just for my own sanity. And I'll say, okay. And so what I would do then is I would then do that. It's done, and I'll close it, and then I'll create a new drawing here. So here's a new drawing. So I've got this new drawing. Let's get the layers. Let's see. All right, so I'll type in my layer, and so I've already done this. So I'm gonna have to close this out. That's okay. So let's close everything down, and I'm gonna create a new drawing. So let's just see what happens here. All right, so this is the one we're gonna be building. It's all good. All right, sorry about that. All right, so create a new drawing here. I'll open up AutoCAD, and I want to do this in metric. All right, so that's good. All right, and so I've got a new drawing, and so when you have a new drawing, you're not going to have any layers here, right? So I want to get those layers back in, so I'll do the same thing, hover over the Layer States Manager, and I'll say import, and it's already going to my Chapter 5 layers, and I'll say open. So here's the thing. One thing it does is it doesn't restore all the line types, right? So what I would recommend you do is this. I recommend before you do this, what I already did, all right? So let's do this again. Let's see if I can do here. What I would do is go ahead and on your line type, just go load. And I would just go Control A, select everything and say okay, and say all right here. And then I would import them in, and you'll notice that you're not going to have that same issue. So what I would do then is go to my Layer States Manager, say new, import, bring this in. All right, restore states. And so you'll see they're there. So that's a little tricky because if you don't do that, those aren't there. So now I'm ready to go. So it's highly advantageous for you to do it this way. Okay, so here I am. I'm going to do this drawing here. Let's turn some of these things off that I don't like to see. And let's make sure we're going to start with my construction line. So that's my active layer. All right, and so good to go. And so this is a little tricky little piece. you have to make an inference, I find, on this, and we'll talk about that later, about in order to figure out the total dimension, because it gives you 100 millimeters and then it says radius 22. So it's hard to figure out what that really should be. So we're going to make an inference based on this. So let's go ahead here and we're going to create our construction lines. And I'm just going to start at 0, 0 and make my line here. And I'll make my, that was my vertical, and this is my horizontal line. All right. So pretty good so far. So I'm going to draw this from the side view here. And this is millimeters again. So I'll go ahead and type in offset. And I'm going to say through, just push enter. And so I like to push enter a lot on this. So this one, the overall dimension on this, what we're doing is we're taking the 100 and then it says radius 22, if you see that. So we have to make that inference that it's actually 100 plus 22 on the right plus 22. So 144 is going to be the overall dimension. All right, and then let's go ahead and do the height. So all I do is push enter 3 times. And then the height is going to be, I calculated it was, of all things, it was, if you look at the drawing, it's 18 plus 58 plus 23. So that's the diameter is 46, if you see this up here. So 23 plus 58 plus 18, and my math gave me 89 millimeters, right? And so then let's do, before we get too carried away, let's just do the top and the one on the right side. So just keep hitting enter, and I'm going to put I'll just make a 50 millimeter gap in between them. I'll do the same on the top one, 50 millimeter. And then let's do the width here. And so the width I calculated on this one, this one's a little tricky too. What you have to do is essentially say that this 40 radius, that diameter, the whole thing is of that diameter. So it's actually going to be 80 millimeters. All right. So you have to make some inferences on this. All right. And then, so again, if the right side is going to be 80, just like looking at somebody's face from the top and the front or the back, it's going to be the same. So we're going to say 80 on this. All right. Okay. And so if that works out, you need to make sure that works, because then you should be able to draw a 45-degree angle. And that's really important that you do that 45-degree angle. Okay. So moving along here, I might zoom in a little bit on this. All right. So what we see here is I need to make this. This is a little tricky. I guess what I would do, and doing this, having done this before, is I would say offset. And I think, even though this isn't going to be something I'm going to use, I think for the construction line, it would help me to figure out what the center of this is. And I say that because if you look on there, there's a lot of dimensions that are based off the center. So if that's the case, if we said the whole thing is 144, maybe I should add a couple of quick dimensions on this. That would be 72. That would be the center. And so let's just go ahead and put just a couple quick dimensions on here. So we're not, we're doing this properly. I'll say dimension. I'll make this my active layer. And so let's go ahead and just add a quick couple dimensions here. All right. Now what I'm going to need to do, let's just do this quickly. Let's just fix these dimensions. So I'll go to my format, dimension style, modify. I really haven't spent any time with this, so I just need to think about this real quick. I can already tell it's way too small. So fit, let's just boost this up by 10. I have to spend more time looking at this, honestly. I have not done so, but let's get rid of the tolerances here. So we're working in metric. So let's say primary units. All right. Okay, so we'll just leave it as it was. Okay, so that'll probably be fine. I'm not really doing my dimensioning right now, so Okay. Set current, close, probably a little, let's just go a little bigger. We can always change this later. All right. All right. So there we go, 89, still working in my dimensions. We said that this is going to be overall dimension of 144. And the part we said is going to be approximately 140 by 80. And just get some of these basic dimensions there. Okay, so fine, let's keep going. So let's go back now. Believe it or not, I don't have to go back in for the construction lines if I'm just offsetting. So type in offset. And so let's just build this out a little bit. So I'm going to be building this part here first from what we're going to call the front view. So I'll just take this line here and I can work from the inside out or whatever. It shows me it's 18 here. So I'll just go again. That center line isn't actually going to be there, but it's going to help me. And then I'll go 9 the other way. And I'm just going to build it this way. So then this one, it says that the overall dimension is 40. So let's just go from the center. I'll go over to 20. And then the same thing on this side, 20. And all right, I could mirror it, but that's fine. All right, so far so good. So I've got the width. I probably want to do the center line. So I want to do the center line for the holes. So I go ahead and push enter here. I find it's just easier, even though I'm not showing the center, going from the center. So this one will be over 50. And then this would be 50 the other way. Okay, so let's get the height going here. So the height of this, if I come down, the overall cylinder, it says is 46 diameter. So that's right, 46 millimeters down. It says that the thickness of that cylinder is 30. So 46 minus 30 is 16. So that's going to be 8. I hope I'm doing my math right there. And then let's just keep it simple here. Go up here 8. Okay, so the last thing I want to do, I think I just want to get this. It says the height is 18. So let's go from the bottom up 18. And let's just start drawing this so I don't get too confused. All right, I just want to see what this looks like. So let's go to the object line, turn that on. So that's my current layer. And I'm just going to build this out real quickly here and see what I come up with. So I'm going to start on the bottom left here, come up, and I'm going to come over to that center that's 18. I don't really know the height of this thing yet, believe it or not. So I'm just going to leave it somewhere in the middle. That's good. Now I'll draw this overall cylinder shape. It's going to look something like this. I can zoom in a little bit, make it a little easier to see. And let's just do this. I'll type in mirror. Let's select these lines here. All right. And let's just close this off. And let's go ahead and do the, we're going to do the hidden line. Let's make that our current layer. And so what I'm drawing here where the center line is that hole coming through. So we'd do something like this. And let's turn the construction line off because it's really getting a little busy for me. And let's just see where we are with this. All right. So I do need to make those cylinder holes. Also, the hidden lines are not working all that well. So let's select these line type. Let's go to our layer here. So this is the hidden line. Let's go to hidden. Let's try the first one and see if that works. There's also another one down there. All right, okay. Better, but let's do the other one here. So it's always better to work out of the layer that way. I don't have to chase this around when I'm doing this next time. So that is one of the advantages with, I think, by loading them all. I don't know why they don't come like that. All right, so yeah, so it's in there. Okay, so that's okay. It seems a little small though, I gotta be honest with you. Okay, so let's do the, let's turn the construction line back on. And let's get these vertical lines for my holes. So we already said there's one there and one here. It's telling us that the hole diameter is 15. So I'm going to type an offset and select this line, and I'm going to come over 7.5. Oh, enter. Do that again. 7.5. Okay. All right. Same thing on this side. You know, you could just mirror it. I love mirroring it, but let's just, then I'd have to go in and change the, I think I'd have to change the layers. Okay. So then I'll make these hidden lines and then the center line. These are really big. What I might do is just drag this a little off here so it's not so in our face. So we're in, sorry, we are in our, oh, where'd my layer go? Okay, so didn't like that. So hidden line is active. So let's draw this hidden line here. Oh. Okay, I don't have the patience, so I'm just going to mirror this. You know, I should have probably done the center line first before I mirrored it. All right, layer. It doesn't like being treated this way, the layers, but that's okay. It just wants to be front and center. All right, so now let's do the center line. Make this my current layer. Sorry. All right, center line. All right, and let's turn this construction line off because it's hard to see what's going on here. All right. Okay, I think we're having, I'm going to keep going, but I think there is an issue with the millimeters. It just doesn't look like it's come in properly because normally this should be bigger. So I'm not quite sure why that's happening. We can fix that later. Let's just keep working here. So, all right, so that is the, we can add another center line here. That should be the current layer here. So, all right. Okay, so I still don't, believe it or not, know where this line, how high up this goes. I won't know till I do it on the other view. So I'm going to have to fix that in a second. So let's maybe on my object is my current layer. All right, and let's make sure my construction line is on, and let's build this from the right view here. So I could just go, let's just see how quickly I can do this. So that's going to be the base. Then I'm going to draw a circle. So let's figure out the middle here, offset. And so that will be 40, even though I'm not going to be dimensioning off that line. And, you know, it'll probably be a good idea to do it here too. 40. Okay, cool. All right, so let's keep building this. So this is the cylinder, and the diameter. Let's see. Let's get the center of this. So it's probably good to get the center offset. It's 46, so that would come down 23. Take the circle diameter, doesn't matter each one, and that's going to be, actually I should have done circle radius. Let's do circle radius. And all right, that's the outer, and then the inner is right there. That does not look right because I got sloppy. Okay, so let's just fix this one. Circle radius. Should take my time. I should key in, type in the number. That looks good. Okay, so yeah, so what we need to know is 67. So what we'll do is from the center, I'll say offset on the construction line, and I'm going to move over half of 67 is 30. Oh, my math is not going very well in my head. What was it? Let's just get my calculator real quick. So I said that half of 67 divided by 2 is 33.5. I couldn't read my notes, sorry. 3.5, very obvious. And enter, do the same thing. 33.5. Okay, and so the reason why I need this is going to be the part that goes up. And so what I was saying was that I didn't know actually where it was hitting. So the object line is on. That's good. And so let's build that. So what I would do is just come up here, and it's going to be tangent. I have my snap settings so it's going to be tangent. You could also type in TAN and then select the circle. I have that in my my settings. So then I'll go enter. Okay, so what I need to do then is type an offset and select this this line here, and I'm going to just snap it to the tangent point. And so what that gives me is I need to take this line from the side and move that up to that point. So this is a detail that you might miss if you're not being careful. So that's one of the advantages of doing with the construction lines. It's very easy to figure that out. So just to show you what I did, let's go to the layers. I'm going to turn the construction line off, and then you'll see that the this point here lines up. And so a couple of things I noticed. Let's just quickly get that. And I need the center line here for the hole, so we can do that real quick too. We're moving along here, so just takes a little bit of time. So I need the center line of that diameter hole at 7.5. So type in offset, select the, and I'll type in center line 7.5 and 7.5. And I should probably do that in the top view here too. So there's a couple lines I need. So offset. So in theory, you should be able to take this line and just snap it. All these lines. So that is the way, if you're manually doing this by hand, you would just go like I'm doing now. And that's why you use this 45-degree line here. And I should really take my time. So as I'm doing it, you want to just check the numbers. So for example, what I mean by that is if you go here and snap it down, it should give you the number that it's doing, the integer 6.5. So that's the way to do it. So I just saved myself a lot of time on the backside. Okay, so let's get our construction line here. It's probably best to do it later. So let's just keep working in our object, and then we'll do all in one fell swoop. So now from the top view, what I would see is a cylinder with this cutout here. So let's just draw some lines and see what we got here. So top view, I think I need a couple more lines. So I should have probably put there. Let's type an offset. All right, and I'm going to draw from the center here. And this one's going to go diameter. So this will be 23. And this will be 23. A lot of lines there. I'm getting myself a little confused. I got to be honest with you. So, so I'll come up here and I think, whew, a lot of lines. Is that it? I feel like I'm playing, just getting lucky here. So let's just make this, and let's just verify this dimension. I'm going to just cheat, just give myself a dimension just to check. So if this is correct, this would be 46. That's right. So what? Let's just go here and just go down and make that my dimension line. Okay. So that's right. So top view, we've got the diameter 46. So if I was going to do it in this way, I want to offset this. I would select this line, offset. Yeah. That's a lot of lines, everybody. Get myself a little confused here. All right, so it's all good. Okay, so a lot of construction lines. I don't like having that many construction lines. Okay, let's build this shape here. So what it said is I've got a diameter, a circle. It's telling me that the radius is 40, so the diameter is 40. Let's go circle diameter. I'm going to start in the center of this, and I should just be able to go, oh, I did the wrong thing, 80. And so that's that diameter. This diameter from the center of this hole, let's do the radius, it's a little easier. So if I come up here to the center, that should be 22. That does not look right. Hang on here. I got to think about this for a minute. So radius is 22. Let's try that one more time. So the center of that would be, I could draw a line, but why is that not here? Oh, no, we're good. 22, cool. All right, so now what I'll do is I'll take a line. My snap settings are already here, but let's just so we can see what we're doing, let's turn the construction line off for a moment. And let's draw these tangent lines. So I'll hit line. It should just do it for me automatically, but let's just say tan. And then I'll push. It should just snap for me, but just type in tan again. And then let's go ahead and mirror this. And then I'll mirror it again. And then let's type trim. Probably would have been easier to trim it first before I mirrored it, but I think we get the idea here. Ah. Cool. All right, so far so good. I've got to draw these pieces coming down. So let's get our construction lines back on. And let's, we need to draw this vertical line coming down. So this line starts here and actually goes there. So it's going to be something like this. It's going to be from, so I'm taking this line coming up and then coming over. All right. And there's that. Let's just go ahead and mirror that. I'm mirroring it because I'm just having a tough time with all these construction lines. I could just turn them off. So 1, 2, 3. Well, you know what? Before we do that, we need to make sure we have the height of this thing. So I'm going to go offset, select closest line. So I'll just If you notice, we already have that there. So there it is. And then that line starts here, goes up to there. And right, so there, go to there. So it's the fourth line up. So this line then goes to the fourth line up. Right, sorry everybody. I went too high, one too high. I thought I did. That's why I double checked. Okay, so. All right, so that would not be there, this line right here. So let's go like this. M-I-R-R-O-R. Let's select this line, this line, this line. Get to the center. There it is. All right, let's turn the construction line off. Believe it or not, we're doing fine here. I'm taking a little long. Construction line off, and let's see what we got. All right, so now let's draw these hidden lines, because this looks a little weird without it. Okay. All right, something doesn't appear correct to me. Just bear with me for a moment, but maybe it's right. It just, that doesn't feel right to me, but let's just keep going. Turn these construction lines back on. We're going to draw the center lines here. I'm not really happy with these. Something's not working. That's really should be much bigger here. So let's, in the layers, let's see if we can find center lines that are bigger. So hidden lines, excuse me, actually both. Something just doesn't seem right. So it looks really big though. Times 2. Let's just see what happens here. I think I may have set this up wrong, so I don't want to spend a lot of time because I'm not going to start over during this demo. But it looks like this is the biggest one. Okay, so, okay, I'm not sure what's going on there. But anyway, let's get the construction line on. Sometimes you know what you need to do on these things. If there is, make them really big and you can see what's going on, but no matter what I do, that's just a teeny little line. Okay, so construction line. And I want to make the center line here. So, you know, what I'll do is I'll make sure that I'm working in the hidden line layer. Hidden line layer is active. All right. And then let's go ahead and draw these lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, come up, and where it intersects there, my 45, come over. And there it is. Same thing on the other side. I could just mirror it, but I come up here up to the 45 and over. All right. We have the holes that we need to do also. I never built that, so let's go to the object line from the top view. Don't like going back and forth so much, but just bear with me. So let's make these holes from the top view. So center radius 7.5. That's correct. All right, so that looks good. I need to make this center line though, so I'd come over here. Hidden line first. And let's go line over to the 45 and then down. This kind of a project, everybody, makes you appreciate modeling in 3D because it's a lot of work to do this. Or if you build it in 3D, it's a lot of work too, but it seems to be a little bit more efficient. Okay, center line is now my active layer. And that would be here. And again, something isn't proper with the way that I did this. Okay, so let's see, probably got lots more lines. Let's put another center line here, right there. Okay, I need to add some center line and some dimensions, but let's just see where I am. I'll turn my construction line off. I think I've got, I should be very careful because I always get too ahead of myself. There's always little things that I'm missing. We are going to turn the construction lines off. Let's see where we are. All right, come on. Okay, let's see what happens when I turn. See, I've got that turned off. So it is easier to model this with the lines not thickened, but that looks pretty good. I think a couple things don't look right to me. I've got to think about this. I don't like that this intersection is happening because that is a weird coincidence. I'm gonna have to think about this for a little bit. So a couple things, center line here, we want to see it. Dimension center mark. It's probably there. It's something's going on. I think there we go. Okay. Here too. So dimension center mark. Okay. I can add tons more dimensions and I will, but for now, I think, so let's go to the dimensions and we can add some dimensions here. Just trying to look at, see if there's any model. And every time I do these demos, when I'm done, I'm like, oh, I missed that. And I have to come back and fix it. That's why it's good to print it and inspect it before you turn it in. I do have to deal with these center lines. Something's off on my end. My apologies, but I started the demo and I don't want to start over. Okay, so let's just put a few more dimensions on this thing and we'll call it a day. So I'll put my dimensions in my active layer. Sorry, keep dimension. All right. So what did I just do? Dimensions is my active layer. Turn the construction line off. That's fine. Okay, so let's just, what I'm going to do is just essentially give the dimensions all I need based off this. I'm not going to go crazy on this, but let's just add some dimensions here that we need. So let's go, it has a lot of radiuses. All right. In theory, I don't need to put this here because it's already, it says it up above. Let's see, 23, that's right. Well, actually it doesn't say it above. So I do need that. Diameter 15, so that's good. Overall holes, let's get that. Radius, right. Okay, you wouldn't actually do the dimensions of the of that part, but you would want to know the width of this. So let's go here. Now you shouldn't dimension hidden lines, but we're going to go ahead. Actually, you can dimension. Let's dimension this because that's how it's showing us how it works. We'll dimension the center line, so that looks good. I'm just trying to get just the basic dimensions that it's showing here. A couple more we're going to need to do. It's telling me that the center line is 58. Oh boy, where did we go wrong here? Let's pretend that that's 58. 89. Wow, we seem to have a problem. Let's just hang on. Okay, a little embarrassing here, but this is, you know, why we should dimension as we go along. This should be 58. So I'm off just by a tad. So let's see. I'm going to cheat here. So everybody, please be patient. Bear with me here. Let's turn the construction lines on. I guess I'm going to have to move everything. Let's see the quickest way to do this. So let's essentially, let's turn the object off. Let's turn everything but the construction line off and the dimensions. All right. And let's just see what we have here. So what needs to happen is this needs to be 58. So the center actually needs to go up. So let's see what happens if I move everything. What's the best way to do this? If I move all these lines up 10, what would that look like? 10. Let's see what happens here. All right, so now the center line of my circle would be there. Let's see what happens here. 58. Okay, let's just see what's coming. Sorry, I'm just having a little brain freeze here, but it's all good. So let's turn our object on and our hidden line, and let's just type in M. See if we can just move all this up real quick. Corner to corner. This one, this circle, and this circle. And I'm just going to move it to the top. And then this line will come up. I'm not sure if this is going to work. The tangent, let's see what happens here. Is that the tangent? Let's just check. Let's take a line here and let's see if it's the tangent. TAN. All right, I'm a little off. That's okay. All right, so I'm going to say move. You may have heard me say something seemed a little too good to be true. The idea that that would be on the top view. Okay, so that's okay. All right, so let's, we're actually not, this is not earth shattering. So we're going to be pretty good here. So then all I need to do here then is make sure that this line, the top of this, see, there's actually a line. Let's turn the hidden line off. That hidden line's still fine. And then the top of this would just have to come a little bit, be a little bit different. So bear with me here. So that means that this line here yeah, so sorry for that confusion. It's just a hair up, almost unnoticeable there. So verify what I'm doing here. So this is the intersection of that. Let's make sure this is right. Yeah, let's see. All right, so type in TAN, circle, and then I'm going to take this line and I'm going to make it object line. And then I want to just make sure that my intersection line, this is very minor stuff, everybody, by the way. So it's all good. Just trying to make it perfect. Let's do an offset here. The reason why we're not showing one is because I actually cheated on the other one. All right. Nope. And I mirrored it. All right, so we don't need this one. Delete. Okay, so what you need to do then, very tricky here, is just you follow this line up, and we're going to just make sure that that is at the intersection. So I'll type in M for move. I'm making this a lot more difficult than it needs to be. That's okay. And then so here we would just, we're so close, you probably can't even notice it. All right. Okay, so circle. It's just so close to that. All right, so I think we're good here, everybody. I think you get the idea. So let's just double check everything. So the construction line is off. So I think the dimensions are all good now, finally. I think we're in good shape. So I just had a little pair, but that actually probably helped you learn how to move objects. I'm just giving the dimensions that are given here. I just want to make sure I have everything shown. Let's make sure we turn on the hidden and the center lines. So everything looks good. All right, turn this one off. That the center line shouldn't be there. Left over. And center line here needs to move also. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so that's the end of the demo. Sorry for the little delay there, but I think it's also helped you see how to fix things. That's why you wanted to mention things earlier rather than wait till the end. I should have done that first. So, okay, so that is going to be the end of the lesson for the shelf support in metric using layers and construction lines.